credit to Miami. They had a tough Thanksgiving holiday and losing a couple games that in their exempt event, and as a very good team does. With a week of practice, they rebounded and very, wouldn't call it complicated game plan, very simple one, and what veteran, really good players do, they rose to the occasion. And we knew Likes was going to be a problem. His prowess and ability to shoot the ball was in effect early. And then we let Vasilovich, who's very, very underrated, he's one of the elite shooters in the country, we let him get off the snide early. But our defense was very, very poor. This is on me. I did a very poor job in getting our guys ready. And that can't happen. That's no excuse for that. We saw what a little fight does in the second half. I'm really proud of the fight. Down 27, and to have the ball with a chance to win the game. I'm extremely proud of that competitive spirit. But we were not very good in shoot around today. In fact, we were as poor a shoot around today as we've had in my time here. And we were not very good in practice the couple days coming up. Experimented a little bit with some things and got away from just getting after it. And that was evident in the first half. But give Miami a lot of credit. They deserve to win.
Questions for the players?
Andres, did you see this coming? What do you think was lacking to start this game for you guys?
Like Coach said, we started really slow on the defensive side, and they was hitting shots, and we was fighting to contain them, but like our defense was like really low. Like that's not useful for us. We're a tough team. We go out and sit down, and I think that wasn't there tonight, and we just gotta get better in that part.
Georgia, the coach mentioned the shoot around wasn't great in a couple practices. What did you maybe see or feel from your teammates, just that you weren't at the level that you come to expect?
Just didn't come ready as we should, into shoot around or practice. Not as focused as we should have been, not as dialed in. Didn't go as hard as we can. You always can go harder and harder, and we didn't go as hard as we could. And that's on our part, as players' part, just to come ready every day. And, as we say, be an everyday guy. But just we wasn't ready. We didn't practice as hard, and we'll get that right.
Andres, what maybe changed in the locker room at halftime to get you guys going?
It's our energy. As soon as we came out, you saw we was fired up. But you obviously cannot win again like going 27-9 first half. I think we should have started with that energy from the beginning, like we always do. And we just gotta come together and keep fighting because we like a great team on the defensive side, and that's what led us to a good offense.
Georgie, just what was the mentality of yourself and your teammates when you guys were down 27 points in the first half?
Get back into the game. I mean, what's the other mentality you have? We don't have those guys that we down 27. Oh, we lost the game. No, like we had energy in the locker room. We better get this back. I think we had a really good shot at it, but we didn't win. Obviously, anytime we down, we want to get back. We had a tough team, so we just was trying to get back. We did, but we came up short.
Andres, as a leader, as a senior, how do you get your guys ready for shoot around before a game so this doesn't happen again?
We just gotta come on more focused. Obviously we're going to step in that part. Get my teammates ready, get myself ready, and have everybody prepared for the next game and for the next practice. We just gotta focus. I saw it earlier in the season. How tough we are, and we just gotta bring it. And stay together, man. This is gonna be fun to watch because we're gonna be great. We're a great team.
Andres, you're one of the better defensive players on the team. You're really good on ball. Coach Underwood talks a lot about flow on offense. Do you guys feel like you struggled to get into a defensive flow tonight, especially in the first half?
I mean, we all talking on the team, you know, like everybody got the ball. Like for us, like it was a slow start on both sides. We were shooting, our shot wasn't going in, and I think like everything comes from our defense. Our defense gonna start that slow, like it did today. We just gotta get better on that part, and that's what we're gonna do in the next few days.
Georgia, this is for you. This is a third straight game where you guys have kind of started off slow, and the second half the energy was different. I mean, this is Division I basketball. What does it take for you guys to get motivated to start the games early so you don't get behind so early?
I mean, we are motivated. I don't think that's a question. It's just thing that we gotta figure out. It's not really started a season, but I mean, we played 7 games by now. We just gotta figure it out. I say everybody's really motivated to play. We wait half a year to be in the season. You know, everybody's really motivated. We just gotta figure it out. Maybe something is wrong, you know, and we will maybe look at the film or do whatever talk with the coaches, and just as a whole unit, we'll figure it out.
Georgia, how important was Kofi just being so consistent to helping you guys get back in the game in the second half?
Huge, especially, I mean, he is a freshman, he doesn't have a lot of experience, but obviously he came up really huge for us, made real big plays, scored, 23 points. That's so huge, and I mean, he's just dominant, and I mean, really good game for him. I'm really happy for him.
Andres, what did you see Chris likes to do out there to get separation and kind of, you know, do what he did tonight?
His quickness, you know, like he's a short guy, you know, but really good player, and he just his quickness, you know, he was using his quickness at his advantage, and you know, we was trying to do like whatever we could do, you know, to contain him and you know contain his shot. He was like good player gonna make shots, you know, and that's what he did tonight. So credit for him.
Questions from the players? Okay, thank you.
Before we leave, too, huge thank you to all the people that came to the game, because I mean, energy was unbelievable in the arena. We was down 20, and then everybody stayed, you know, and everybody got real loud. Orange Crush, obviously. So, big thank you for them. Thank you for the support. We will keep fighting and get better. Thank you.
Brad, what makes for a bad shoot around?
Attention to detail, attention to scouting report. You know, something that we've had very few of this year. We've always been pretty dialed in, and today just you know, asking them a simple question: how do they form and guard ball screens, and nobody knew the answer. And it was like, hey, we've covered this for 2 days, and you know, it wasn't as much physical as it was mental. But again, maybe that's on me. You know, it's my job to try to correct those things and make sure that we're emphasizing the right things.
Right in the back.
Brad, did you like Iowa's attempt to get to the hoop at the end, and if you could do it again, would you change anything?
Well, we would have loved to get it on the rim. But yeah, I mean, put the ball in one of your best players' hands and try to get it to the rim, and or make a play. And again, lights as he was on the offensive end, made the defensive play. And you know, give the young man credit. You know, we ran a little simple up screen with our big guy, and you know, he was there to support it.
Brad, in preseason you said you wanted your team to have expectations. How has that impacted them, do you think, at all?
Oh, I don't think so. It's a long season. You know, I think the one thing that is you know, we've got to continue to do is understand the importance of every possession of every minute. And you know, we talk about our defense early, about our turnovers early, and all we talked about. And this is been a very common theme with this group. You know, we talk about, you know, establishing the front of the rim, and we're 7-8 games in now, and you start looking at the games we've done that, probably a pretty good idea. And granted, we had a little tip play, and we're wide open, and we turned it over. And, but other than that, we knew they were gonna double. We did, and instead of executing, we turned it over 4 or 5 times before the first media. And 2 or 3 of those were just live ball layups that led to easy baskets at the other end. So we compounded the problem, and that's, you know, we can't have a hero mentality. You know, it takes everybody, and those early turnovers, you know, forced me to burn a lot of timeouts.
Coach, you just mentioned the early turnovers. You had 6 before the 12-minute mark, or 6 right around the 12-minute mark. You almost got into such a big hole in the first half that
Almost? No, we did.
The
27 downs a problem.
the second half you were just trying to come out, and then you didn't have the timeout. Do you feel like you wish you had one at the end of the game to get your guys a breather or to draw something up at the end of the game?
Yeah, I never look back. I mean, I'm doing what I have to do to, you know, it's not the first time in my career I've used all the timeouts in the first half. You're gonna do what you have to do to try to stem the tide and give yourself a chance. And, you know, obviously, and, you know, we know what to run in the last 10 seconds. And I'm not a guy that wants to call a timeout and face a changing defense. But you know, we've had our share of making those. So again, give Likes a lot of credit.
Alan and DeMonte had a lot of time tonight. Assess their performance.
Yeah, they've been great. They've been great. You know, it was DeMonte's our leading rebounder, and you know, we were able to play him. He was a vital part of it because defensively we were able to switch on him and use him defensively. He made a couple of you know, I thought key defensive plays. He made one that, you know, I mean, Mike's hit a tough 3 over an extended hand on him. And but yeah, DeMonte was great. Alan has been terrific. I mean, he's shooting the ball every time he shoots it. I think it's going in, and then he gets on the offensive glass. He made a key block or 2. So yeah, he's contributing at both those guys at a really high level, and that's got to continue. I mean, I'm very, very happy with them.
Derek?
Coach, you went more dribble, weave, and high ball screen in the second half. What did you like more with that versus your possessions and the spread in the first half?
It didn't matter what we ran in the first half. I mean, we ran it the first half. We just turned it over. It didn't matter what we ran. And it's really frustrating as a coach to, when we dribbled it off our foot, we threw it to them. You know, and that's the mental part of the game. That's the mental part that we had thought we got by. And all of a sudden, you know, early, we're just one pass and shoot it. Kipper checks in the game and hasn't touched the ball and shoots a 3. And he hasn't made one on the year. And it was just like, what are we doing? And but the turnovers were costly, and when we quit turning it over, we could actually run something.
Brad, I know you were obviously pretty upset in the first half, but what did you say at the break, and how did you see guys respond to that and let you guys go and run you in the second half?
Well, I talked about the Maryland game my first year. Very similar to the Maryland game. And you know, I saw a team in that game that really fought, really competed, really had some pride to want to come back, and that's literally all. I mean, it didn't matter what we talked about X's and O's. When you're turning the ball over and you're not competing, we had 3 offensive rebounds the first half. They're 331st in the country in rebounding. 331. That means there's 22 teams worse than that. That's it. And we had 3 offensive rebounds as bad as we shot. Our effort was more of an issue than anything we could do X's and O's. And we addressed that, and it was great to see that we got a locker room full of guys with pride, and they fought. Can't ask for anything more. You know, had we been able to finish off that last play, you're talking about the biggest comeback in school history. But we're not, and Miami deserves the credit for that.
Coach, when you look at Maryland and Michigan coming up, what can you take from today that needs to fix, you know, moving forward?
Effort. We can play with anybody. I don't doubt that for for 1 second. There's a reason Maryland's been down in a lot of games and they keep coming back and winning, and they've got a very consistent effort. They've got Anthony Cowan as senior. You look at Michigan, you know, you look at Teskey, you look at Xavier Simpson, I don't know. All those guys, 2, 3 stars, I don't know what they are. All I know is they win. And they compete every single night. And you know, that's where we're trying to get to, you know. And Turge has been there 11, 12, 13 years or however long it's been now. And, you know, Juwan's in year 1, but taking over a program that's got winners. And they bring it every single day. There's no roller coaster. And that's what we've got to get to.
Coach, kind of a two-part question. Coming off the court, you were really upset. Was there anything in that last sequence, like going to the hoop and then IU, you know, giving the charge? Was there anything that made you upset during that sequence?
I mean, you're frustrated because your guy's 5. I wasn't upset at the situation. I mean, we made a play at the other end. Got to stop and we got the ball in one of the best guards in the country's hands, and their kid made a play. Their kid made a play, and you know, you want you know, be fun to look at the film and look at it, but you know, give Likes credit, man. That kid's won a lot of games and is a heck of a player and steps in and takes the charge when the game's on the line. You love that about him.
And lastly, what can your team learn from this experience?
Yeah, how to come out of the locker room ready to play, and I would hope that the understanding of playing together, not turning the ball over, moving the ball, attention to detail in a scouting report, how to prepare on the day of a game. You know, we'll examine all of those things, and that's where we've got to grow.
Brad, you've taken the blame twice right now on this, but it seems like you can only do so much. Do you have a leadership issue in that locker room, or is that a concern of yours right now?
You know, I think everybody's got to be accountable. I think everybody's got to be accountable, and I'll be honest. I structured a couple of really bad practices, and it wasn't enough effort stuff to sustain every day the way we have to play to win. And I'm mad at myself, and yet guys have to. They have to fight with the pride, and you know, there's once the ball's thrown up, to be quite honest, there's very little a coach can do. I mean, I tried everything in the first half. I mean, the play card was tried, the timeouts were run out. You know, at some point your competitive spirit has to kick in, and it did. And we reminded them of a few things at halftime, and I'm proud of the way we finished that one.
Right, from about the 7-minute mark or so left in the game, you put Io on Likes. Looked like for most of the game, he hit the shot over to Monte, and I think another one. But how important was Io's defense into slowing him down and letting you guys back into that?
Got a little length on him, and you know, he wasn't passive. I mean, he didn't have an assist first half. He wasn't passive, and you know, again, it was no knock against Trent, but you know, it was more of a coverage scheme thing that we didn't handle very well. But again, Likes hits some tough shots. He's that guy. He's the guy who makes a lot of hard shots when you watch film. And you know, we knocked him out of his rhythm a little bit with foul trouble. That helped. And then we made a terrific play on him down the stretch, and he missed. But he also hit 2 big threes.
Iowa offensively got going later in the second half, but only had 4 at halftime. In a big game, you probably want a guy like that putting up more. Where do you think he's at with these offensive games?
You know, it's hard to judge offensively. I think he's fine. He just had 24 the other night. You know, I think it's, you know, they went under all of his ball screens, and he hit pull up after pull up after pull up, and you know, the first half, it didn't matter what we did offensively when we turned it over and shot it after one pass. It was that's the growth that this team has to have. So we'll keep hammering away at that.
Coach,
Kofi had 7 rebounds, I think, out in Arizona. You only had 4 tonight. Is there a way that you can scheme him to get rebounds offensively and defensively against teams that are going to try and double team him on a rebound or get an extra body in front of him to prevent him from getting a rebound?
Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm not very happy with myself. You know, we got away from it for a few days in practice. And Kofi's got to know that's coming, and it's a big part of his game. And it's not, you know, Kofi's next step is not the singular effort. It's the multiple efforts. And knowing that somebody's going to hit him and that you have to go take that next effort to go get a rebound. And if you start accepting blockouts, then it becomes very, very easy to get none. And you know, that's the next step of it.
Anything else for Coach?